Welcome back to another video brought to you by your one and only literary pharaoh. Good morning, guys. On the way to work this morning, wanted to upload a video, talk to the few people that do listen to me. Again, I've told you guys before, I don't make these videos for clicks. I don't make these videos for views or subscriptions. It's really a therapeutic it's a therapeutic apparatus for me. I utilize it just for therapeutic purposes because there's a lot of times when we don't speak our inner thoughts. We keep those inner thoughts concealed. Yeah, it's inside of us. We know what we're thinking, but it's also appropriate to express thought through language. And this is what a lot of people do who go talk to a specialist. They go talk to a counselor or go talk to a psychiatrist or whatever. Psychologist, they're sitting there and the person is just listening to you talk, and they'll ask a question, an open-ended question. Usually that's how they get you talking. It's not questions that are yes/no questions, close-ended. They're really open-ended, and they'll just ask you questions and say, oh, so how does this make you feel when this happens? And the person just starts to talk. And these specialists, these people who are paid to listen to you, these counselors, these specialized counselors, they don't interrupt. They wait till you finish. And then what they oftentimes do, they'll go back and say, what I hear you saying is blah, 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 blah. And while they're doing that, the rationale for them doing that is for you to feel like you're being listened to, number one. Number two, they can also do that to make you elaborate more if the specialist misperceived or misconstrued the messages that you were sending or conveying. So if you were saying something and the counselor responds, what I hear you saying is blah, 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 blah. What I hear you saying is this, you're saying that. But if the counselor gets the interpretation incorrect, it's left up to the sender of the initial message, the person who's coming there for help, to clarify. So that's therapy. When you're going, when people say you need to go see a shrink, it's not that the shrink helps you. They just help you express yourself. They help you to get it out. It's sort of like a person who's sick who wants to vomit. It's not good to hold the vomit in. You gotta get that vomit out. And I believe that's what this is to me. It's more of a therapeutic thing. Whether people listen to me or not, it's not it. It's just I get to talk freely without any interruptions. So I get to speak my mind, and I think it's appropriate because there are a lot of people out there that I can't. A lot of the things that I talk about on video, I can't go to the average person and talk about. Like when I'm talking about extraterrestrials, when I'm talking about, interdimensional beings, when I'm talking about things that seem conspiratorial, when I'm talking about how they're spraying us with chemicals, or when I'm talking about how they change weather. And I go in deeper. I mean, for the most part, some people believe in that, but I go deeper as to who's in control. I don't think that human beings are in control of that stuff. I just don't think so. I don't think that human beings will deliberately destroy their own habitat. No other animal does that. Usually animals are trying to preserve and maintain and keep up their habitat, keep up their ecosystem. We're the only creatures, if you believe what the news is telling you, that men are in charge of the complete destruction of the planet. I don't think that men are in charge. I think that men are being led by extraterrestrial beings who have a nefarious agenda, and these extraterrestrial beings are given certain perks to humans, i.e. be it technology advancements or some type of mechanism to control people. And it's like an exchange. It's like, well, if you give us the permission to do this, we'll give you this. But it's not coming from a human source. It's extraterrestrial at its inception. I truly believe that. So that's where I am with that. Like I can't go around talking to normal people. Like they'll look at me like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. So this is just a way for me to express my feelings and express my thoughts. Now, there may be some people who may co-sign and say, oh, I agree with this guy. And there may be some people who say, no, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's crazy. And that's fine, too. We are all entitled to have our own views and opinions. And this is just a way for me to express mine. So I say all that as a prelude to what I really got on this video to talk about. Just my weekend. I had a great weekend. My weekend started off with taking my little boy to get his haircut. And that was Saturday. I don't count Fridays. Fridays is a work day. My weekend actually starts the next day when I don't have to get up in the morning early to go to to go to a job and get paid a wage. Took my boy to get his haircut, watched the boxing events, that took place this weekend with David Benavidez and that whole fighting card. I thought that was amazing. And Sunday got to go outside with my kids, and the weather was nice outside. Me and my wife, we worked out in the driveway. Kids were playing out in the front yard, running around with their friends on scooters, eating a bunch of junk food snacks, playing around. Me and my wife got to run around the block a little bit, a couple of times. Well, she did a couple of times. I did 4. She got tired and stopped. I thought she was still running, and I looked behind me. I didn't see her anymore. I'm like, oh, where did she go? It got sun. I feel good this morning, actually. I feel rested. I woke up early this morning and got my stretching. I stretched. So I'm trying to find my regimen. Right now, we're still waiting to get my workout card for the new area that we live in, because we have amenities in the neighborhood we live in. There's a gym. There's a gym in the neighborhood for people who live in that neighborhood. And we've been there for over a month now. We haven't received our access cards. So I think we should be getting that this week. So that will enable my wife and I to wake up in the morning and kind of, get some work in before we start our day. It's always essential, guys, that you wake up and get work in. I think if I can give anybody advice, no matter what kind of hours you work, it's best to work out in the morning and get it out of the way. And it's not just for the sake of getting it out of the way. It's a charge to your day. Take a lukewarm or a cold shower, or lukewarm shower will be good. Some people can't take cold, and I get it. I could take the cold when I'm extremely hot. Like if I've worked out and I'm hot and I'm sweaty, I can do the cold shower. But just getting in the cold shower, just fresh after waking up, it's a no-go for me. But do not take extremely hot showers. It's not good for the skin, and it's just better for you to take lukewarm showers. Our bodies are at room temperature, so it's only appropriate to use room temperature water on your body. You shouldn't be using extreme hot water or extreme cold water. But in certain cases, the extreme cold, if you look on the internet, has way more benefits than the benefits that you get from taking extreme hot showers. And I had a good weekend. And I'm up this morning. I'm gonna be late though. We have a meeting this morning. It's like 7:48. I'm supposed to be there at 8. But for some reason, I was moving at my own pace this morning. I hate rushing. I get there when I get there. And I'm so professional in the fact that I know people may say, well, how are you professional if you're late? Well, it just depends on how often you're late and what's your production at work. Like I'll give you an example. You have people that are never late. They're always on time, but their work is crappy. Like their production is lackluster. It leaves a lot to be desired, but they're always on time. Does that mean you're professional? Professional, in my opinion, the way I view it is that when you're called up to get something done, you get it done efficiently. All right. The presentation of whatever you do, presentation is always key. Even the way you dress, everything is at a top notch. That's professional to me. Professional is not you being a slave where you're there all the time on time. I can afford to be late sometimes because of the work that I put in my job. Now, I don't take advantage of it and say, well, I put out good work, I'm going to come late every day. I don't purposely try to come late, but there's some days where I'm just moving a little slow and I just come late. And I think it's okay. It's okay to have ebbs and flows when you're going to a place that you don't desire. I don't desire going to work. It's like I told you guys before, this is wage slavery to me. I would rather be at home working on myself and doing things that I love to do for myself, self-centric, and be self-centered, and be truly 100% selfish, which is okay to be selfish. I know society teaches us not to be selfish, but the only way you can be good for anybody else is to be selfish. You have to take care of yourself first before you're any good to anybody else. So that's my take on that. So right now I am running late, but I'll get there when I get there. And I always tell my coworkers, I say, you guys look at time and say somebody may be late, but I feel the way I govern myself in my own universe, because I'm going to be the God of my universe. I'm going to be the generator, organizer, and dispenser of my own reality. I tell myself all the time, whenever I get there, I'm on time. I'm never late. We are in the world where we're ruled by time. All right. And in other dimensions, time doesn't even exist. Time rules us. And am I ruled by it? Of course I am. Because if I wasn't ruled by time, I was probably I wouldn't even be in bed by now. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I really don't even sleep that long. The most I sleep is like 6 hours, 5.5 to 6 hours. I don't sleep long. And I don't even feel right when I sleep that long. I can't even sleep long like that. This idea that you need 8 hours of sleep is bull. Like, no, you don't need 8 hours of sleep. Some people do. Women, from a molecular perspective, genetically, and in the terms of their biochemical makeup, women they're required to have more sleep than men, just because of the way they're built, the way they're made. But men, maybe 6-7 hours. But no, we're not babies. Like, we're fully developed. Like, little children need like 9 to 13 hours of sleep. We get it, because they're still growing, they're still developing, and they need it. So yeah. And the big breaking news that everybody was talking about was just, Luka Doncic going to the Lakers and Anthony Davis going to the Dallas Mavericks. And then you also had the news about the helicopter and plane crash. And people have been so saddened by that, and rightfully so. But I'm going to let you guys in on a little bit of a secret of how I govern myself, how I shield myself from the programming. Mainstream media is programming, believe it or not, and certain stories are told to elicit certain emotional responses. And I truly believe, and this is me talking about extraterrestrials again, I truly believe that there's a alien force out there that feeds off of our energy. We are electric beings. We're much more than the physical that you see. This is just an exoskeleton to house the inner force that's within us. And there's something much more to us than just flesh and blood and bones. And our emotional states, our collective emotions, that's what emotions is. It's energy in motion. Our energy that's in motion, it's truly used against us and puts us in a state of certain low vibrational outputs that allows extraterrestrial beings that eat our energy to eat. They feed off of that. So last week when I went to work, I think it was Friday, had some lady talking about, did you hear what happened, with the crash? And I'm like, I kind of had to just like not answer it, because a lot of times when I answer that, when I say no, people look at me like, how do you not know? Do you watch the news? I do watch the news in the sense that I'll turn on the news in the morning just to see what the weather's going to be like, to see if anything catastrophic has happened on the freeways or my path to work, just to see what's going on, just to get a clear bird's eye view of what's going on. But I don't listen to news to carry this notion that I'm informed. I don't want to be informed with what the matrix media is feeding me, because when I'm informed, then they form me into what they want to form me. My psychology becomes formed by what they input in me. So they're informing me to forming me into what they want me to be. It's sort of like molding clay. And I say that because the news is sad. They're far and few in between do you hear stories about positive things that are happening. Probably 5% of the time you may get like a feel-good story, but which is really all manufactured and political, and it's usually driven with ulterior motives to push a particular agenda. And I think that if the news was, we live in a society where we feel like the news is supposed to inform us of how bad things are, so we can navigate our day based upon the negative things that are happening around us. But I would beg to differ and say that the opposite is true. I really truly believe that if the news spent more time talking about the good things that are happening in the world, it would actually form and inform. It'll form us. It will form our psychology to be more positive. Think about it for a second. What I just said. Consider it. Consider having the news. 95% of the things that are being read are good things. That'll change our psychology over time. But the deliberate negative news is done so deliberately to put us in a negative vibrational state. Hold on, I gotta take this call. I'll be right back. Yeah, back, guys. So the news is deliberately, used as a weapon. Everything is weaponized. Our emotions is used as a weapon against us. Our humane sense of humanity is used against us. especially they target women a lot, especially mothers who have the nurturing spirit. They use that as a way to drive production. So we live in a consumer-based world, so what they do is they market a lot to women, because women are the number one, statistically they're the number one consumers. 75+% of consumption is by women. They purchase more, they buy more. Not because anything negative, not because they're materialists. I mean, part of it is that, but most of it is that most women are mothers, and they're buying for their children, they're buying things for the home, they're buying things that they need. So women drive the economy, believe it or not, and most of the advertisements are made to target women. And same thing with the news. They use our own essence and our own makeup and build as a weapon against us. And what I mean by that is that if they know you are wired a certain way, they can use that information and invert it and use it as a weapon for them. They're weaponizing it for their sake, and their motive is always bound in control and to make you consume. They want to control you and make you a consumer of their product. And that is an embellishment of the military-industrial complex. It fortifies and makes it a more formidable, enterprise. The military-industrial complex becomes stronger the more we give into it. And everything that we go through, the foods we eat, the news we watch, it's all wired and geared to do such. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. It's 8:02. I'm about 5 minutes. 8:02. I'm about 5 minutes away from the office. I'm a little late. I'm not as late as I thought I would be, but I'll be there. I just text them and told them I'm running a little late because we're supposed to be having our Monday morning meeting. So I'll get there. All right, peace, guys. Take care of yourself. Remember, your health is your wealth. And leave a comment to me what you guys think. All right, peace.